it's called a square. Oh no, yeah. That's called toast. Hey.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. That's called toast.
Hi everybody.
I don't think
I'm
I've
talking to
ever
you,
had a squiggle.
Dominique and Gojo. Hi.
What's the appeal of a
is a
squagel? It's a square bagel.
What?
It was a thing like in
Yeah.
the 90s. I think people were making squagels. Was it like?
Because bagels feel too ethnic. Is that why?
I don't know. It was
this-
like,
this-
yeah. This is our
was
version
this-
of it. We'll take it and make
You
it our own
shouldn't-
thing. It's like the
You shouldn't
vanilla
measure
ice,
bread.
the vanilla ice
Yeah.
of bagels.
We
Nah.
can't measure bread.
We have
using
culture, damn it.
pie. Yeah. Diameter should not be how we measure our carbohydrates.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder if it had anything to do with like the Wendy's square burger patty at the same time. Maybe they came up together.
Oh. Yeah.
I just
I wanna
always
give you a
assumed
square meat.
that was about like production efficiency. Is like they laid out a bunch of fake meat, and to be able to cut it in squares would mean that you waste less fake meat than
Allegedly
if you
fake.
lay it or you spit it out in like circles, or maybe it was just like a marketing ploy. Like, we got square. We don't cut any corners here at Wendy's. Over that other guy,
Yeah.
they're cutting corners. We give you more beef.
So
We give you the
real,
corners here.
real quick weight check. How we all doing post Thanksgiving? We're doing all right. We're feeling good. Our cheekbones
Yeah.
still visible. We're feeling good.
Feeling great. How much did you put on, Pablo?
I would say like a +5.
+5.
Just +5.
That's
yeah.
impressive. So I'm
Yeah.
confused. Are we going for like who could put on the most or who didn't put on any? What is the goal?
Well-
here? I mean, you and I are
well-
married, so like I feel like we can compete to who could get bigger. But Gojo,
Yeah.
on the other hand, gotta stay sexy, baby.
Buddy,
I'll be
listen,
honest.
if that was
Yeah.
part of my appeal, like I would have given up the pursuit a long time ago here. Like
respect that.
I had to commit to the bit of being funny and trying to be witty at a very early age. That has not left right now.
I
would be an
respect the hell out
undrafted
of
free
that.
agent fat person forever.
That was
Yeah.
similar to a decision I made when I was young. Is like all my friends was like do-rags and had all the freshest gear, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be good at stuff. That's gonna be my strategy, is being really good at stuff, because I'm not gonna be using pomade and sleeping in a silky do-rag. Like, that's not gonna work. Like, I'm a handsome guy, but I'm not a pretty boy. Like, I knew that the way that I was gonna become quite attractive was being the best guy at the school at something. That's my move. And Pablo, what'd you do?
Wow. Yeah, that's an inspirational tale, Dominique, of you just deciding to be better than everybody
Yeah, that's
in
all you
order
gotta
to
do.
achieve your underdog story. I don't know. I don't threaten white people.
That gets you a long way.
Oh, if people follow you on Instagram, they know how funny that really is.
Alabaster, I'm afraid of where this is going to go next. So let's just start talking about
Oh,
sports now,
gosh.
please. This is Debatable, the show where we debate nothing. It's a fake TV show, blah, 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 blah. I am not a racist. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we begin today's show with breaking news.
I'm also not a racist. Just like I want that out there.
Well,
Whoa.
I can't make any declarations. So please tell us what the news is breaking.
The breaking news is that Max Scherzer signed a 3-year, $130 million deal with the Mets.
Yes, baseball.
Just kidding. We don't have to
Wow.
talk about baseball.
Oh,
Ooh,
goodness.
I was
Oh,
about to
man.
threaten
In
some
the
of the people
off-season,
that I had
too,
previously
of all
said I do
times,
not
you want us to
threaten.
talk, what, hot stove? Is that what you call it? I don't know.
Oh, I was going to default to just accusing Pablo of being racist now so we can get away from this.
I mean, I was going to accuse Alabaster. You kick us off with baseball. What are you trying to do?
I was about to make a hot stove reference about Gojo and weights, and now we're several jokes.
All saved from the misery that was going to be us debating that topic or not debating it. What you got, Allie?
All right, our first topic. What does Lincoln
More like
Riley's
Allie
decision
Baster.
to go to USC mean for college football?
Oh my gosh, what a great
Oh.
question. Let's just start there and appreciate how fine a question this is from
That's
my
right.
good friend Alabaster, the finest producer on television that's not television.
Wow, Alabaster, I hope that makes you feel better. I know we ended the, pre-break shows by totally just stuffing you into various lockers, but here we are with clear sincerity. I love that, like, tracking college football hires is like diving into an episode of Succession. And by that, I simply mean it's a lot of like videos of people on tarmacs, like in SUVs pulling up to like private jets. And I'm like, I know this isn't going to be this glamorous like going forward, but I love the idea of like Lincoln Riley coming out of a PJ, but he's dressed like somebody that Logan Roy would never allow into his home.
Great hair today,
Like just
Pablo.
a lot of polo shirts. Thank you.
Great today. Outstanding. Your hair ate good over
Got a haircut.
Thanksgiving. I love
Got a
it.
haircut.
I mean, Gojo
2
knows
days ago.
more about college football than either of us combined. So, Gojo, tell us what we need to know.
Excuse me. All right.
Pressure.
This is probably one of the more impactful instances of a college coach switching in my lifetime, and
Yes.
especially in the last like 20 to 30 years. And the only comp I've seen was Jimbo Fisher leaving Florida State to go to Texas A&M, what was now a few years ago. But even that doesn't qualify in the same ways, especially because the juncture both of these schools were at. What this does immediately for USC in terms of validating them in the eyes of recruits, especially the many Southern California quarterback recruits that had been departing that area of the country to go to the Clemsons, Oklahomas, and otherwise of the world, completely, I think, starts to halt that, leak in the pipeline there and keep those guys in Southern California, give you a legitimate game-changing play caller at a school that certainly values offense, and does it at a point where we've talked about college football playoff expansion. We have talked about the Pac-12s really sort of being left behind in that conversation, immediately validates and changes the game for them. Like the recruiting class they signed, because we are now just a couple of weeks away from the early recruiting deadline, is likely going to be devastating with the kind of people that jump over between that and the portal. And for Oklahoma on the other side, it's impactful because they're, as many people have talked about, going to have to go and do a legitimate coaching search for the first time since 1998 before they hired Bob Stoops. Big, you don't want to be out here anymore energy, like Tulum, Crystals. You ready to be part of what a group chat is, Oklahoma?
Charcoal
because you're
ice
about to
cream?
be in a bunch of them here. Like all of that is going to be in play for them while they are also staring at the edge of the cliff that is their jump to the SEC. Because while I'm not going to jump on board with this notion that Lincoln Riley was running from the competition of the SEC or anything like that, it does change the calculus around this job at a time where LSU, recently jilted by Lincoln Riley, is still on the table here, where Florida just made a hire, where there's a bunch of jobs in an offseason where we haven't seen the coaching carousel necessarily churn like it has. So this has taken two blue blood programs and completely changed their immediate trajectory in a way that affects college football at large, especially the notion of USC being back.
So I want to jump on the idea that he's running from the SEC competition. He may be, and I don't judge him for it. That seems wise. Like when I was deciding on what school to go to, I chose Maryland because I thought I could start as a freshman there. And I thought that my career would work out better if I was able to start as a freshman at a school that was not a perennial power. It worked out for me. So I think Lincoln Riley taking this USC job is smart. If he plans on winning national championships, yes. Going out to the Pac-12 where there's a ton of talent in that area that is in a conference that's not all that competitive compared to everyone else, like going out there and potentially building a dominant juggernaut with the pipeline that you have from the talent that's in Texas, because he's still going to get some of those. Those relationships don't dry up. And now with his pedigree with Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, he's going to clean up in the South California quarterback market that you were talking about earlier. Like that team is going to be loaded. And then you put on top of it, they have probably one of the cooler locations in all of college sports with NIL money that I'm sure is going to be pouring in if they could win. Like this is the definition of a sleeping giant. So maybe he's running from the SEC. But trust me, if you could pick between two LAs, the one out west is better than the one down south. So good call, Lincoln.
No, I love the idea that, hey, the West Coast is available if anybody wants it. Like that's the marketing efficiency that Lincoln Riley jumped all over here. And it's not just USC, and I was going to make fun of like Domonique for comparing Maryland to USC, of course, but then I realized, well, actually, like the Pac-12, yes, that stat from Alabaster here, 0 Pac-12 teams in the college football playoff the past 5 seasons. Lincoln Riley alone has made the college football playoff more than the entirety of the Pac-12 has. And so you have all of these advantages that are just waiting to be, and I hate to use a word that brand managers say, but they're waiting to be activated. There are things waiting to be sold to the young, hungry, thirsty athletes of America that only USC can offer. Like, and I know that we're going to get to a point at some point, I think, where we're just coastal elites in every sport, right? I love the idea that actually Oklahoma is a contender in a conversation that also has like the finest campus in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But until then, right now, Lincoln Riley has the ability to look really smart for doing something that's very
Imagine being a
obvious.
recruit. Imagine being a recruit. You get off a private jet in Los Angeles where they have actors and directors and movie stars waiting for you on campus. Like the fan base of USC is out of this world. They're waiting for you to give you high fives. Everyone there is beautiful because it's true. Everyone in LA, like it's just men, women, everything is like a point higher than just about anywhere in the country. You might say there are more attractive people in New York, but there are also more ugly people there too, so it brings it down a notch. LA in general, you're just gonna walk on there. You'll be at the beach every now and then you'll go on campus and freaking, I don't know, whoever these kids look up to will be sitting there waiting for you. And then
one of the Paul brothers will be there hanging out.
I don't know. I don't know who the kids like these days. And
It's
then
a TikTok person.
They line up all these contracts for the NIL money because of how big this is a media center.
The NIL thing.
Yeah, like, and then you look at the coach and he's like, "You want a Heisman Trophy? Yeah." I just be handing them out to quarterbacks. Like, it seems like this is a great job to have. And then you get to live for Lincoln. Like, I don't know. I ain't spend much time in Oklahoma, but I would just throw it out there that
Coastal Elites, here we go.
if I had some free time, I'd rather spend it in Los Angeles than in Oklahoma. I'm sorry. Like, what is Oklahoma?
You're doing the Joe Kim Noah Cleveland press conference.
I mean,
That's
they
what
got
Dominique
Tiger
is doing
King.
right now.
Like, Oklahoma's got Tiger King. What else do I mean?
Dominique, I will say to that point too, hilarity continued to ensue when we saw our ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter tweet out that Cliff Kingsbury's camp had apparently been approached by that. Like, Cliff Kingsbury's agent immediately went to work, and everyone rightly showed the picture of Cliff's place in Scottsdale because Cliff Kingsbury's not leaving Old Town Scottsdale to go and have to recruit again in the now Big 12, soon to be SEC in Norman, Oklahoma. I've been to Norman. I love Norman because it speaks to a lot of the things about me. You're not going to pick it over Old Town Scottsdale when all things are clear. You're not going to pick it over Los Angeles at that point here. This isn't a geography bash. This is to show the reality of what Dominique mentioned, that you have built yourself, and Oklahoma will always be a power. But in this day and age where you have NIL, which, I mean, my God in heaven, like, you just listen to the way people talk about it now. The folks in Miami, when they were talking about that kind of shell corp they put together to funnel booster money to these guys through NIL, that's not going to just be happening in one place from here on out. That's going to dictate a lot of what this happens. You combine that with a portal where, like, listen, Lincoln Riley's also had his best success with quarterbacks that he has pulled from transfers, right? Like, the thing that we've dealt with Spencer Rattler for the last couple of years, that was his homegrown guy, and it didn't really work out the way everyone expected it to. So you combine those two elements in modern college football recruiting, and you are going to get some wild stuff here that's a reminder that geography and, quite frankly, like, the rich tradition and resources you have available. We'll wait and see if we ever get an inkling of what this contract looks like, but there are only a handful of schools that are capable of winning at the highest level in college football anymore, and Lincoln went from one of them to another one of them in a way that just, reminds you what a gifted both play caller and recruiter he is.
No, there's a path to television directly, and by television I mean being in the college football playoff every year. Like the SEC thing, I know we want to like make it so that it's not insulting to the SEC or to people who fear the SEC, but honestly, like, it makes so much more sense to not have to go through Alabama every year. Right? Like, it makes your life so much easier to just basically be the cream of a conference that is going to be guaranteed essentially a spot in that playoff should you take care of like Oregon and Utah, Gojo?
Well, and like, just think about it, like Dominique brought up the lifestyle things of some other ways. Yeah, it's I like Utah's program as much as the best of them.
I mean,
that's the point that I was.
Yeah, I know, I got it. I was just emphasizing. I'm sorry, Coach. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was just ringing in my head where you could go up against Oregon and Utah, or you could look at Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah, exactly.
LSU,
I'm sorry, Georgia, leaving you out. Yeah.
A&M. Like, goodness gracious.
I will just say to Dominique's other point about lifestyle choices, that's quietly been the story of this offseason in some weird ways here. Like Mel Tucker and some of these other coaches, getting highly paid jobs at the places they're at right now after enjoying only minimal success. James Franklin at Penn State would be another example of that. Like, Dave Cutcliffe at Duke just, either mutually parted ways or was fired, however you want to read that situation after his tenure there, is an interesting lens to look at all of this through, because we've seen the SEC chew up and spit out coaches like it's their job, opposite Nick Saban and Kirby Smart and these juggernauts that you're going to have to try and go through. And so far, it looks like a lot of the candidates, Dave Aranda at Baylor is likely going to end up staying there, at least the way that situation reads right now. All these candidates that we thought, LSU, Florida, these big-time jobs, and they all kind of looked at the way those programs have been operating with their head coaches and say, yeah, the resources and exposure are good, but at some point, the rest of this and my comfort also matters. So it's just going to be interesting to see if that stuff and the reverberation of the way we've shortened coaching tenures and the decision-making process here starts to have a negative impact on which coaches are ready to leap into that weird college football crucible that is the SEC.
Well, you also know, for the Oklahoma end of the conversation here, your level of trouble is going to be proportional to the number of words in the 4-part series of PR screenshots that they released on Twitter, where it was hey, let's get as many. It was very, very big. I didn't TLDR. I'm sorry this happened to you, or congratulations, whatever it is that happened. Yeah. It's panic, man, because the portal thing, I love that we call it the portal, by the way. It reminds me of Stargate. I don't know if you watched Stargate on this program, but I watched Stargate. Nope. Anyway, a giant gateway is going to open in Southern California, through which who will step through, right? Caleb Williams, we assume he's going to step through, the quarterback who we all think is now better than Spencer Rattler in Oklahoma. He's going to step through. All these other dudes are going to show up at the doorstep. And what does it mean for college football? I love the fact that we might get another villain. Alabama's a great villain, love it, but the idea that USC could be the thing that pisses off everybody else is so great.
I mean, I'm looking at the top 25 now, and the top 25 suggests that either we don't have good football players on the West Coast or they're coming to the East. I don't understand it, because we're looking at Midwest teams and Southern teams, just about all the East Coast, to the sleeping giant point. There's enough talent out there. I was being sarcastic. There's clearly enough talent out there to have at least one team be competitive. Oregon is the only team that I would consider a West Coast team that is competitive. Oklahoma State, I guess that's more Midwest, but the rest of this is just Big Ten kind of Midwest schools and all Southern schools. And I just can't imagine how excited Riley must be to get out West eventually, 2 or 3 years, and be dominating. And something you said earlier, Gojo, Oklahoma's always going to be a power. I'm not so sure that that's the case going forward, depending on what happens to them in SEC and what coach they get. I'm not sure. We've seen it happen to other perennial powers. They've fallen off. Nebraska comes to mind. Teams that are in areas that we don't necessarily think of as population hotbeds or football hotbeds necessarily. I don't know how many people from the state of Oklahoma actually are top level football talent or enough to fill out that school.
Well, and now the next place our eyes kind of have to go, especially in the immediate future here, is what does Texas and the rest of the current Big 12 do with this bit of leeway they could have here in the interim period here while Oklahoma figures it out? Because ultimately, I'm going to bet on resources and say they do figure it out here at some point, and that Joe Castiglione does, their athletic director, make a competent hire in this spot. But in the meantime, what we just saw at Texas this year wasn't great, but Sark and company have the advantage of, hey, we're going to be here. You don't know what's coming as they near this immediate window. The same thing goes for Texas A&M recruiting in that same footprint here. It's all going to be very interesting to see who capitalizes on this, because it's a big void in power that's now left in, the existing Big 12, but really more specifically, the American South, Southwest, West, that Texas area of the country that's such a big recruiting hotbed.
How dare you underestimate Bob Stoops' ability to learn how to do the gritty, or whatever that kids do now. He's going to be so strong on TikTok. Just wait.
Oh, gosh, I can't imagine being a college football coach.
Bro, did you see they had Nick Saban in an IG Live after their Iron Bowl win?
So
that's
sad.
The ultimate, they're going to have you out here wearing a hottie sweatshirt moment.
It's so sad. He is the greatest college football coach we've ever seen. And he understands that some way he has to appeal and get towards the younger generation as he gets older. so much so that, can you imagine anything less Saban-like than doing IG Lives? I guess not. It's like, he wants to win. He's got to do whatever it takes to win and get those players to show up. And it's always, I didn't see his IG Live, but I remember when I was being recruited, how awkward it was. These like 50 and 60-year-old guys were trying to like tell me about whatever music was hot. And I was like, I don't care.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't care if you know this. You don't realize, like, this means nothing to me. Like, I would like to know how much I'm going to play. Like, what are we going to do? I want to see the training table. Let me see the workout facilities. I don't care if you know a couple bars of whatever is the top hip-hop song right now, but they got to do it, I guess.
How about all these college bands playing Industry Baby? That Lil Nas X really onto something, isn't it?
I remember giving DAP to one of these coaches, and like he was obviously not comfortable with it, but had obviously practiced it and went for the hug DAP. And you go right shoulder to right shoulder, so you turn your face left. This man went same face. So we we cheek to cheek. I'm like, what is this? Like, you gotta go other side. And we go cheek to cheek on the DAP. It was really unfortunate.
Tony Bennetted him, cheek to cheek him.
I don't know.
I love the idea of like college coaches. I love the idea of college coaches, like almost like you're practicing like, you know, your engagement speech or what you're gonna say in front of the mirror. They're standing in front of the mirror like,
yeah. And they're like, what's up, bro? No. What's up, homie? How you doing, dog?
What up, my boy?
Yeah. What it do, though?
We got a real dope training table here, fam. You want to come kick it in the player lounge?
Oh, Lord. I also love the idea of them trying to scout these players for, like, optimal DAP strategy, like, on social media. Like, does this guy look like a multi-step handshake dude?
I love that.
Or...
Yeah, they're doing their research. Just, like, looking at all his videos. Like, man, that guy's a clap straight to the two-hand hug. Yep. Or he's a clasp to a shoulder toucher, come out to the lock it up, or is he just a clap fist pound? I remember when I went to Denver, I was very surprised by that. I was a Denver Bronco, and I went to the Boys and Girls Club, and I come from the East Coast, where you go, you clap it, you bring it down, you roll it into a nice, and then you're done. But it was a lot of clap, fist pound, and I'm scraping palms. I'm scraping these kids' palms, just scraping palms. Like, what is clap, fist pound? I got it down eventually.
Bro, yeah, I was gonna say, you cross the Rockies, and that immediately changes. It'll have you out here looking real stupid. That's why, like, they got to have the DAP analytics ready. It's DAP VOA for these coaches here. Hey, on 3 of 5 attempts that we saw last week on TikTok,
oh god,
he came into this at an angle.
It was a lot of missed tackles for me. Just missed tackles, just scraping, just grabbing claws.
I recently found myself involved in a handshake in which my thumb somehow wasn't participating, and I was like, I don't know how this happened, but clearly we can't be friends anymore.
Yep.
I'm sorry to my father-in-law. Please, next time.
It's all about the hand angle too. Like, if you get a up hand angle, that's an East Coast DAP coming. But if you go straight with the thumb up, I think we're looking at handshake. Straight with a relaxed thumb, I think we're looking at clap pound.
No, see, you gotta go full on leg kick if you're dapping up Magic Johnson while standing on a couch. That's what you're missing in this breakdown.
That looks like
Domonique.
It's Kendall Roy, like performance enhanced, where you're going in with a little bit too much chemical gusto right there.
Can we just take a second to appreciate that Pablo's not the one that brought that up? I'm proud of you, Pablo. Good for you, buddy.
But now that Gojo mentions it, it definitely had big cocaine energy. I'm sorry, Magic Johnson. I sprinted, hopped on top of a couch, and like wound up like Louis Tiant, the baseball player, Domonique, to dap this man up.
Tony Bennett played baseball too?
Yeah.
I know he sings songs that white people like.
Domonique, I have so much to teach you about the world that I've come to truly dominate, honestly.
I just appreciate that Pablo's going to be the one on this show to teach Domonique about white people, because I'm not capable in a lift of those ways.
Squagel. That means next time.
Alabaster.
All right. Yeah. Our next trending topic. Should the Rams regret going all in on Matthew Stafford?
Ooh. I mean, like right now, as of today, I will happily go on the record and say absolutely. This looks terrible. And I know he's kind of injured, right? Like, we're going to give him some sort of leeway because sources have told Diana Rossini that he has, like, in the operation game, he has like every part of his body like lit up red. It's not good. I understand that. But that statistic, which I know QB record is not like a thing, but at a certain point, 9-70 is hard to sell to someone, man.
Well, I think that the question is another fantastic question, but it does not include the context. The context that needs to be included is what was the other option? So maybe he is 9 for 70 all time, but boy, that 9 sounds real good for a team that has no wins with a quarterback named Jared Goff. Who was the other option?
Good point.
So yeah, Matthew Stafford is a little off these days. He's a little injured, but he also makes a lot of really impressive throws from time to time. So I think that they are happy with their Matt Stafford decision, given that the other quarterback, even though we all agree that quarterback wins is not a stat, you guys put it up all the time like it is, the other quarterback in this equation got a tie. He has a tie. That's the best thing on his resume so far this season is a tie. And with that similar roster, I mean, over the course of his career, Matt Stafford made the playoffs every now and then. So I'm certainly not a Stafford apologist, but Goff? Really?
But Gojo. Like it is startling that like Jared Goff is a convincing argument against the fact that Matthew Stafford has thrown, yes, a pick six in 3 consecutive games, which feels like the bottom. But then I guess the Lions, would be like, actually we're still very much the basement.
Yeah, no, it's very much so the basement here. I also love the notion that like Matthew Stafford is when they started doing this all-in strategy. Like they were paying off one credit card with another credit card long before they brought Matthew Stafford over here. They decided that first-round picks weren't real, and he was just the middle of that process here. The problem is exactly what Domonique brought up is we always say comparison is the thief of joy. And Matthew Stafford, in reality, was brought here to be better than Jared Goff. But in actuality, what he's being compared to is the guy that was across the field for him. Yeah. He was brought here to do what Aaron Rodgers did in that game, which is erase the mistakes of the lesser talented people around you. And with Aaron Rodgers, you had a patchwork offensive line in front of him. Randall Cobb went down in the middle of that game, and all Aaron did was throw balls on a rope at 21 on the Rams defense, who got taken advantage of in ways that made me uncomfortable in that game. And basically help out everyone around him. Matthew Stafford made a couple of big plays, but for their offensive line that has been exposed since the Tennessee game, and their defense that has gotten run on in a way that's probably not sustainable, like he hasn't done that. So we're going to unfairly compare him to Aaron Rodgers because when you got the price tag coming in that he does, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers also overcame his own mistakes because he is out there playing with COVID toe, which was a result
allegedly.
He missed the game because of his decisions, which I would argue is definitely a mistake, and he's overcome that. So yes, Aaron Rodgers is not the comparison that you want. If you thought that Matt Stafford was going to be Aaron Rodgers, then you're a fool. Like, that's just plain and simple. I don't think that was their expectation. So maybe it's a mistake for us to expect that. But he's been, these last few weeks, as the cards continue to point out, he's been way worse than that. So, like, I don't think anyone wants him to be that. He needs to be better than what he's been. He was impressive early in the season. But I think what they want out of Matt Stafford is the ability to win some games when everyone is playing poorly every now and then, which I think Goff didn't have that capability. I think Stafford has that capability, even though he hasn't shown it in recent weeks.
So the question then is, like, why are the Rams so bad right now? Because Matthew Stafford is one part of the equation, of course. But yes, as these cards continue to cascade, just throwing Rams fans into a deeper depression, like, yeah, they have been getting blown out by like 2 scores a game. And so that defense, I mean, Domonique, the defense of the Los Angeles Rams, which, again, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Von Miller thrown into that, all of these guys, why is it that, I mean, is it just the fact that they played the Packers? Because they also have done this against the Niners the week before, who they shouldn't be blown up by.
Yeah, I mean, defense is hard in this league, and it's gotten harder. They lost their coordinator, Brandon Staley, who that takes some impact, but they're still very talented, and they're not bad on defense. At least in this game, like, they got set up to fail quite a few times because of those turnovers, muff punts and things like that on short fields. They still, their front still gets a ton of pressure on pass rush. I think while you're trying to take some of the blame off of Matt Stafford, I think part of the reason why their defense is not great is partially because their offense hasn't been producing, because that pass rush is incredible. But you know what is great to pass rush? When you have a lead and you know that the other team has to throw the ball. And they can't be able to, they haven't been able to do that. So I think that this team is perfectly built if the offense would live up to, I guess, the expectations. If they're able to live up to those expectations, I think we'd be seeing entirely different defense.
Yeah, and like the big stat that we haven't seen so far is the Rams, whether it was the special teams blunder, a strip sack given up, like Rashawn Gary quietly coming on at the same time that we're seeing this Rams offensive line really come undone. The Packers had 3 offensive possessions inside the Rams 30 in the first half of that game. And they managed to hold them to 13 points. Like, there are 2 field goals mixed in there in a rate that's really impressive here. And so that's not sustainable. You're not going to win football games as long as that's the case. And again, it goes back to the foundation of this thing is cracked. They are getting beat up front in a way that this offense needs to survive. Like, their offense was really good at protecting the quarterback, to Domonique's point, when the game script allowed you to run a bunch of play action, to play out in front of this one, to protect the part of your team that's clearly not as good as we thought it was.
So hold on a second. As we talk about, like, schemes confusing defenses here, can we see what's up? Is Alabaster doing something different with his hands?
With his real
Oh God!
Like,
what the hell, man?
Bulldoze right past that.
I didn't even notice it. I just looked like his hands to me.
His fingers look like toes.
It's a totally normal hand. Find a new slant.
Wait.
Oh God! You guys see that photo of Megan Fox's thumbs?
Oh yeah.
Toe thumb.
I've
Big toe thumb energy.
Speaking
there.
of big toes here, did anyone on this show, I didn't see last week because I don't always watch when I'm not on. Did anyone do the Aaron Rodgers showing off their toe on screen?
Go for it. You got to do it.
Well,
no one's done it.
Should we let's all do it. Let's do a triple toe show.
I mean, I'll do it for you, but I feel like I don't really want to show my toes. But if you want to show your toes.
This is how we get a wiki for. This is how we get a wiki feed entry, guys.
Do I want a wiki feed entry?
Do you?
Oh, what's happening with that one?
Oh yeah, with that pinky. What's up with your pinky?
I don't know why it wasn't moving there. It was freaking me out a little bit because I generally have like great feet.
So this is all this was. You just were excited about showing your feet. You just wanted to find a way to squeeze your feet in.
Totally self-serving. These things are sexy, man. I wish people would offer me money for my feet.
All right, I think we've exhausted this topic. Now we're looking at.
Oh, wait, hold on. I want to get me into the valley. Get me in my toe valley.
I don't want you. That is really unfortunate.
Oh, it's like you're licking your own toe now. I regret this.
Oof, yeah, can you put up another question,
there it
please?
is.
I've had enough of this.
Yeah, Alabaster. Let's get away from Pablo's toe valley. I've unleashed this.
I was debating putting my actual foot on the screen, but we will move on. Our next topic. How do you explain what's going on with Lamar?
No, wait. So Domonique, I love that Domonique Foxworth took your son, you took Declan to this game, and it was like, hey, do you want to go to like this? Want to go see the new Avengers movie? And instead, it wound up being like, The Wicker Man, like a movie that's so bad that maybe it's good, but mostly was just bad. So what was it like to be there? That's my question.
So this is his second game, and being the great father that I am, I've taken him to 2 8:00 Sunday games for the Ravens. So he's at school right now, nodding off once again, probably not learning anything. But the last game was incredible. We went to the comeback against Kansas City. Lamar's throwing jump pass touchdowns. It was outstanding. And then this, not so much. He found a friend. They ran around a little bit and played throughout much of the middle of the game. So he fortunately was chasing this other kid around while Lamar threw 3 interceptions in the span of like 5 passes right before halftime. That was a mess. And then Baker Mayfield is just, he looks inept. Like occasionally and I think what was so uncomfortable for me in that game was watching how little it seems Stefanski believes in Baker. And I understand he's injured and all that stuff, but they get down in the red zone towards the end of the second half. And they're in the high red, which everyone knows that's like shot territory, because you don't want to get in the red zone because it gets a little bit tougher because it's condensed. So you want to hit the end zone right there. That's when you want to take a shot with your quarterback. They did a double pass where Landry was the quarterback. And I was like, man, they don't have any faith in him. And Landry got sacked and fumbled and gave it up. Then they got the ball back because Lamar wanted to give him the ball back, and they ran a screen. Again, it was like, this is a sign of someone who's like, all right, they're going to blitz us right now to get us out of field goal range, which is a good situation. If you're getting blitzed, that means that you can find a matchup and exploit it because the Ravens are decimated in the secondary. So they anticipated the blitz, and they're like, what are we going to do against this blitz? Let's not have Baker read the defense, find the matchup, and hit the open guy for a big play. Let's run a screen that's going to get batted down. And I just was like, oh, that's sad. They don't believe in him anymore. And it was uncomfortable. And the same thing on the other sideline should have happened. Like Lamar had thrown 4 interceptions.
Yes.
And the Ravens should have been like, oh, we don't believe in this guy no more, especially at how ugly some of those interceptions were. But the great thing about Lamar is that he always has that floor of the running. And even when he's throwing the ball terribly, as long as the defense holds up, nobody wants to see the Ravens in a 4-minute drill because it might take 8 minutes, and then you're stuck with Baker Mayfield with 50 seconds and no timeouts and a full length of the field to go. So as bad as Lamar was, he's still Lamar.
I do enjoy the fact that with that comparison, because I think it's apt. Like, we saw that stat a million times that no one uses more 3 tight end personnel percentage-wise in the league than the Browns offense. It's like that sad train meme that's been going around here where the one guy's looking one way in at the rock wall real sad, and the other guy's looking out at the window. The guy on the inside is the Browns' use of 13, and the guy on the outside is the Ravens' use of 13. Because, the Ravens is this beautiful thing where Mark Andrews is your leading receiver and incredibly talented. And Pat Ricard's this barrel of a human being at fullback, and it's diverse, and it still allows Lamar's to make plays. And to Domonique's point, the use of 13 by the Browns seems like an admission that your quarterback's either too banged up to be good, or you have a belief in your running backs that's going to be hard to now that Jack Conklin's probably going to be out for the foreseeable future. And your strength has never been there. Outside of their top tight end, how many of the rest of those guys are we looking at saying, oh yeah, those are viable threats they've got on the field?
Did you almost choke on the Browns? You almost choked on the Browns take. It was so bad. They're so bad that you threw up. I feel you.
If you died giving a take about the Browns, that's about the saddest way to go out in this business.
We should celebrate the rest of the Ravens not named Lamar Jackson, because I think all of us talking heads have been talking about how terrible the Ravens are and how Lamar Jackson is the MVP, even if his numbers don't match up, because he uplifts this very bad team. This was the opposite. Even his successful plays, I guess you can credit Lamar for the athleticism and his touchdown to buy enough time, but he threw a ball in the back of the end zone, and Mark Andrews was open, but it fell 10 yards short. Mark Andrews came back and caught it. The other deep pass to Mark Andrews was also an incredible
one of the greatest catches
one-handed
I've ever
catch.
seen.
And then you put on top of it that the defense was lights out despite his 4 turnovers. So, this was the one game they owed him one. I guess last week, too, because he didn't even play. This team came together and repaid Lamar Jackson for all the times where he put them on his back.
Well, even the touchdown the Browns had, the David Njoku reception was not a touchdown at all, and I still don't understand how he arrived there, despite many cameras. But no, I mean, look, the Ravens, yes, they are. Domonique, it's funny, man. You've been sort of warning us about the Ravens for a long time on this program when we actually do talk about sports, which we're doing a lot of today, by the way. I don't mind it, but there's some good things to talk about. But you've been saying don't trust this team. There is a hollowness to this team. They are decimated by injury. And yet, here they are at the top of the AFC North, 8 wins.
No. Top of the AFC. You can keep the North.
That's right.
They are the number 1 seed in the AFC. How outrageous is that? You've watched them play.
It's absurd.
You've watched them play.
Absurd.
And I mean no disrespect. I'm from Baltimore. I played for the Ravens, and they paid me a lot on money than I deserve.
Your helmet behind you is you have an ornament.
Yes.
You have an ornament that is literally Ozzie Newsome on your tree.
I do.
Show him the Ozzie.
I love Ozzie Newsome, man. That dude is a saint. He's a genius. He should go back in the Hall of Fame. He went in the Hall of Fame because he's an awesome tight end. They need to re-induct Ozzie because he's also the greatest general manager in the history of pro sports. You know what he did with his first? Not only did he pay me a lot of money, and I got injured in my second year and didn't really quite live up to the money that he paid me, but they won a Super Bowl, so they're good without it. But his first 2 draft picks, Hall of Famers. How you kick it off? Your first 2 draft picks as a general manager, you go Jonathan Ogden and then Ray Lewis.
Ooh.
And then he just put together 2 Super Bowl championship teams without like great quarterback play. Joe Flacco played great in that run up to the Super Bowl and in the Super Bowl, but he managed to put together Super Bowl champion teams that were built around defense, which is outstanding, especially considering that he's tight end. Put him back in the Hall of Fame. Let's do it again.
Wait. The mention of Jonathan Ogden forces me, Domonique, as you hold your ornament there. Alabaster, it is time for you to tell us why Jonathan Ogden means also quite a bit in your life.
Jonathan Ogden, wonderful alumnus of St. Albans School in Washington, D.C. Our greatest athlete, and I'm trying to bring it up as I filibuster here, is also part of the greatest high school football photo in the history of
you haven't
time.
seen this,
I haven't
Gojo?
seen this.
You haven't seen it? Oh, you're going to love it. Get in there. Get in
Bring
there
it up
tight.
closer.
Get in there tight. This is great. That is Jonathan Ogden, and those are normal-sized humans, normal-sized high school people. Get it closer. I need closer. Yep. He was playing against boys. I mean, I wonder how many bodies he got. Like, they had to change the rules in the Washington Catholic League when he was running around.
Well, no, just to be clear, Domonique, other offensive linemen at St. Albans include Alabaster.
Yes, Alabaster.
That's
Put your
right.
hand
Me
back
and Jonathan
up,
Ogden, pretty much the exact same.
Yeah, Jonathan Ogden. Yeah, those are not Jonathan Ogden's hands. I'll have you know. Like, it couldn't have been fair. They should have handed him the ball. They should have just let him run it.
They did. He was the goal line fullback and running back.
Goal line? On your own goal line? You give it to him backed up.
I was going to say, I want him getting Vita Vea touches where he's got the length of the field to work. Go Cook, kid.
Yes, I love Ozzie Newsome is the point of this, and that roster is pretty impressive because Costa, who was a descendant of Ozzie, is also doing a pretty good job there. It's a good organization.
No, listen, I like that this has devolved into Jonathan Ogden appreciation time on this show here. We can't do enough of that content.
Z.
Can we just get a tour of Dominique's Christmas tree? Domonique came in today with a decorated Christmas tree.
Okay, so it's a lot of helmets. We got the Aussie. We got the greatest Barry Sanders. Outstanding. I love that. Little MJ, him say, fade away. Perfect at the top.
Top of the tree,
we got,
of course.
Champ Bailey on the back. ESPN thing right here. Oh, Ken Griffey Jr. over here. Yep. This is back when I liked baseball. Actually, I just like Ken Griffey Jr. And then he stopped playing baseball, and then I stopped watching baseball. Oh, that's a Jets helmet. That can come off. We don't need that.
Oh,
sorry about that. I think it was just a pack. Here it is. Griff. Look at him. So cool.
Oh wait, I should put this on my tree. Hold on. I have my own figurine that I forgot.
What are we doing? I don't know what's going on. This is terrible.
Is there really a figurine, or just want to show us your pink shorts?
Oh yeah, shorts obviously are great.
Yeah. Wilt?
I got Wilt Chamberlain over my bed, guys.
All right, put it down. Put it down. Put it behind your back. 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 What number is Wilt Chamberlain?
Oh God. The first digit's a 1.
Good. Spit it out. You gotta give us something. This is just dead air.
13.
Yes!
13.
He's 13.
Wow!
You got it. I don't know if people know this, but Pablo is terrible at sports numbers.
Yeah, can we stop? I hate this quiz.
Really
I hate this
quiz.
I am so glad that this.
Ben Roethlisberger. Give us Ben Roethlisberger. What number is Roethlisberger?
He's single digit.
5, 4, 3, 2.
He's 7. I know he's
nice.
He's 7, right?
Nice.
He's 7?
Nice. That's impressive. Dan Marino. 5, 4,
I got
3,
no idea.
2, 1. All right.
13 also.
Man, I don't like this. You're getting them all.
Did I get that one?
I don't want to play this game anymore. What's the next topic? It's only fun when you get them wrong.
This is so satisfying. This is
only
so
fun when you get 'em
satisfying.
wrong.
I'm so bad. Just for the record, when we do highly questionable, Domonique and Mina literally gaslit me into thinking that 12 was not Tom Brady's number. So my confidence level on this is not strong. That's very real.
Oh, goodness.
By the way, I just want to go and show just how strong the brand is that both of these guys have like very like relevant sports figures adorning their homes or Christmas trees. And the only statue I could find in my vicinity is a gnome riding a pug.
Oh, gosh.
Whoa, David. Wait, I was going to say that's like a David the Gnome, but with a pug. David the Gnome used to ride a fox in the cartoon.
Yeah,
that is Gojo, where do you even buy that?
I got it as a gift from a friend, which again shows you it's not like your idea or like your quote unquote brand isn't what you think of you. It's what other people think of you. And this is what other people think of me. And they're right.
Ken Griffey, 5, 4, 3.
Oh, God.
2,
No, it's a 20-something. It's like a 20-something. What is it?
24.
Right? 24. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
All right, I'm happy now.
By the way,
I've got one
Gojo's
wrong. I can
theory
move
of
forward.
branding, you are what other people decide you are, is also my theory of race. It's a longer conversation we could have at some point about colorism. But anyway, Alabaster, speaking of which.
What is going on?
I'm just opening rabbit holes that we could look into, but not jump down.
Okay.
But,
well, we peaked.
I
don't like that one. Let's step away from that rabbit hole.
Why can David Ortiz say the N-word? You might say it's because other people decide that for him.
Alabaster, give us a question.
Saying.
Give us a question.
Time to play a game.
Give us a question.
And that game is Whodunnit.
Riding a bug.
Oh, goodness.
We give you a quote, you tell us Whodunnit. Sometimes people think that sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple, but they didn't. And your choices are A, Brian Harsin, B, Mike Gundy, C, Jim Harbaugh, or D, Coach O.
Man.
Are we done talking about Pablo's loose theories about race and who can say the N-word? Because I got to get on the screen again.
We are done. Come on back.
All right, Gojo. There are a lot of college football names here. Brian Harsin, who's the Boise State guy, right? Or no, he used to be, but now
Boise State. Now he's at Auburn.
Yep. Now at Auburn, right?
Oh, done.
I don't think it's that guy. I was half accurate with his biography there. I don't think it's that guy.
This is not Ed Orgeron, who signed off with his last Go Tigers this past weekend. This one's going to be C, Jim Harbaugh, using his one shining moment in his first victory against Ohio State to peacock all over everyone.
Alabaster, we're going to go see final answer. Domonique is coming back with, I think, a tome about race relations inspired by my commentary. So in the meantime, let's play this video.
Sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple, but they didn't.
Yeah. I also have no idea who or what he's talking about in that spot here. Like, is he talking about Ohio State, which like maybe that's a commentary on Ryan Day, but it's not like Michigan's ever really been hurting for the same level of status in college. I don't really get it.
Yeah. But I guess, Gojo, I'm curious.
I mean, all right, I get it from that standpoint.
Died.
That is a very
So who was I had to change batteries. who was out here talking about baseball?
It was your boy's brother. It was your boy's brother. You don't have a John Harbaugh ornament, I presume, but Jim Harbaugh was the answer to this.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So it was like talking about Ryan Day stepping into a program that was ready built. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
right.
Quality doo-doo talk right there. Good work, Harbaugh.
Yeah. It's I appreciate this. Jim, like, you know what? Regardless of whether it's right or wrong, and I don't necessarily believe this is right. I think Ryan Day's shown he's a pretty damn good football coach since he took over at the helm there, even at a place where, like, south north of LSU, like this. Okay.
I just love that Jim Harbaugh got truck sticked for like a decade. And the first time he wins, he breaks this out. I just respect that. I respect the cojones of a guy who's like, you know what, I got something for you, even though I didn't have something for you as I lost, 1-5 now against Ohio State. Sorry.
I mean, I think you could say that Ryan Day was born on third base, because I think that's probably true, without meaning it as an insult. Because some people, you get to third base and you don't get home. He's gotten home a few times, which is respectable, but I think it's foolish to pretend like he built up a program from nothing. Not that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like there's something to this slight. That's the only reason why it's a good one, is because there is something to it.
Urban Meyer, all of that, in the background.
And, like, to be clear, that's also been the best sell of Jim Harbaugh as a coach at any stop, is that he's a really good jump starter of a program that's had a dead battery, which he did again at Michigan. So he does deserve a lot of credit for that. He also just finally got to the point where he cleared the mark where people at Michigan don't want to fire him anymore.
Are you rooting for him? If he wins the Big Ten and they go to the playoff, they're going to play Alabama, presumably. What are you hoping will happen in that situation?
Against Michigan?
Yeah.
You know what? Like, this is where I have to separate, like, the person
Right.
that I am in my normal life who showed up wearing a Notre Dame hoodie to this thing, who certainly wants to see Michigan enjoy no measure of success, because maize is the worst color in the crayon box. It's not even close. But, I mean, honestly, they're probably going to be the 2 seed in this round. Alabama's probably going to get dropped by Georgia, so I don't know who they would end up playing, like some combination of either, like, Cincinnati if they get up to 3 or
Right.
what have you. But the notion of seeing that offense of Michigan's that just absolutely stomped a mud hole in Ohio State's defense get to go up against a more terrifying version of Georgia's defense in a national title objectively would be interesting matchup-wise, and probably realistically the most interesting matchup left now that we're not going to get Ohio State's offense against.
If Georgia beats Alabama, you think Alabama drops to 4, or you think they drop?
No, Alabama's out. I think
so?
Especially after barely winning the Iron Bowl. Like this weekend was the first time the Iron Bowl has ever gone to overtime, and it went to 4 with Auburn on their backup quarterback. Like, Alabama's looked kind of down. I mean, they got jumped by Ohio State this past week. Kind of tells you what the committee's thought about them as late. They get dropped 2. That's always been a death sentence, and I think even for Alabama would be 2.
Oh, cool. Well,
Wow.
But it's going to be Georgia. Georgia's going to win it all. Don't let anything else make you think otherwise here. Georgia's going to win everything. This, it's just,
you think Cincinnati's going to make it in?
yes, at this rate.
Okay.
I just
analysis
never.
right
We'll end this segment by just saying I never thought I'd hear Gojo just totally insult corn
He did.
as a concept, just
I mean,
crapping all over maize.
Yeah, I mean, I think maize historically has gotten an inflated sense of self based on the way we used to tell the Thanksgiving
Wow,
stories.
you're trying to
so
cancel Thanksgiving? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm
You're
trying to
put
cancel
Thanksgiving in a
maize.
cancel culture casket?
Oh my gosh, Pablo's out for blood today, guys. Please hurry up and get to the end of this
Alabaster.
before he gets somebody in trouble.
He's
Before I
reprising
talk
the role
about-
of Domonique.
No, I ain't doing this. Leave it
Before
to
I
me.
get
It's
agitated
making me nervous.
about settlers and colonists, please.
All right, we got another quote here. If I'm refereeing that game and you dunk on someone like that, I'm not calling a charge. And you at home, you're not calling a charge. And your choices are Miles Bridges, Joel Embiid, Anthony Edwards, or Russell Westbrook.
All right. Anthony
So-
Edwards is the one who had the dunk that we're talking about, I assume. So
Yes.
is he the one who also said this?
I'm not 100% sure. I just want to pick him because I love when he says stuff. This feels like one of the things that he would say that I would love.
All right. We'll stick with it.
Alabaster, Gojo, if you co-sign this, let's see if we're all correct.
If I'm refereeing that game and you dunk on
Outstanding.
someone like that, I'm not calling a charge. And you at home, I'm not calling a charge.
That the chain that just says AE on it is, I mean, I just want to shout out that. I know that is the person that Domonique decided not to be in high school.
Yeah, I did.
But shout out to you, Anthony Edwards. You're a king.
Anthony Edwards decided to be both of those people. in
Yeah,
high
that's
school.
I didn't have that option presented to me. I needed to focus on one or the other. And as I mentioned, I was not going to be sleeping in silkies. Like, I just not going to do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Then it got cool and people was walking around with them on their head like it was a hat. Nah, never was for me. Never was for me. But I do remember when a 58-year-old white college football coach had a silky on trying to recruit me. That was amazing.
I'm sorry.
What do you think, Gojo, about this topic?
Oh, wait. What?
Oh.
That didn't actually happen.
We naming names out here?
No,
We naming names?
No, we're not naming
Can we get this
names.
into a blog post?
We're
Come
not
on.
naming names because it's completely fabricated. It was just for comic relief, although it would have been amazing. And the only name I would name for someone who clearly wears a do-rag, an old white man who wears a do-rag to bed, you both know who I'm talking about.
My dad?
You're damn right. You're damn right. That is too damn wavy. It's too damn wavy.
It's so wavy.
You ain't doing that
It's
without
so
some
wavy.
pomade
Senior
and a bristle
as a
brush.
routine.
You're not getting it done with one of them regular white people brushes with the little things with the knob on the end. That ain't getting it done. You need a bristle brush, nice hard wooden one without a handle. One without a handle. One is just an oval.
Wow.
You hold it like
Just
this.
a bare
and you just
claw
like,
of a
yeah.
brush.
Yeah. You gotta train it. You gotta train it. Your dad been training that thing for decades now.
I like the idea that, like, instead of running around with, like, a second family, my dad has instead been hiding his hair care routine from me for 3 decades now.
You don't want
like, I
you to know.
lived with him for 20 years. I did morning radio with him for 3 years. And in all that time, he was, like, going to the bathroom and just go in there. And
You thought he was pooping. He wasn't pooping. That man was getting.
He was
whole
creating
brand on
waves
lies.
that we can only dream of
He
surfing.
was scooping.
Yeah. I think that answered your question, Alabaster.
Do you guys want to watch the dunk and gawk at how awesome it
Oh,
was?
hell yeah.
Back to Russell.
Yes.
Now feeds it to Ant on the move. He'll rise up.
Yuck!
Just-
Oh my goodness, they're gonna wave it off. Curtis Flair called an offensive foul.
By the way, can we shout out Anthony Edwards for being what everyone wants Ja Morant to be, which is a person that finishes dunks?
He just went up.
Whoa!
Morant
Coming out
slander.
firing in Ja Morant.
I'm just saying, I saw SportsCenter's account even lean into this and post, if you made a highlight of almost dunks, Ja Morant would still have the most posters. It's like, that's the only kind of poster we've gotten from Ja Morant, who's a great player, but a bad finisher of attempted acrobatics. Anthony Edwards finishes what he starts, even though they call bunk fouls on him.
Oh, man.
I just love that somewhere, Gabe Vincent, if you're going to play that video back, Gabe Vincent, the guy that Anthony Edwards pommelhorsed in that dunk, did not catch any slander, but Ja Morant did.
Yeah, I mean, so I know like coaches like to celebrate these type of unselfish plays, but I don't care. I would have to tell my coach I don't care. Like, no, I'm not taking charges
The
anymore.
extension.
He cupped the back of his head. Like, it just feels so, it feels like, no, I don't care.
Yeah, no.
Not all turnovers are worth it. And I don't care if it's game 7 of the NBA Finals and we are up by 1. If he starts elevating me, well, we're going to have to slide.
It's 2021 too. Someone can make an NFT out of that now. So someone can your worst moment of your life and have that forever as a form of currency. I still don't understand.
Yes, the time you got manually wave checked mid-dunk by Anthony Edwards. Alabaster, what do you want to say here?
Gojo, could you ever dunk?
I had one day where I could dunk, and it was because the basketball hoop in my driveway was at the bottom of a little hill, so I could get kind of like a running start. And it was like my sophomore year of high school where I hadn't gained enough weight yet, but I was lifted enough to be strong. Nice. My thing is I got smaller hands, so it's hard for me to palm a basketball. But I got it down like twice that day, and it was
so
the
the
best
answer's
day of my life.
no. Was what he
no.
No,
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Just the way Gojo's face lit up though was
that one time in the driveway was amazing. Though.
Ooh, I caught that down. I said, "Oh, this is nice," and then after that, it was just Then after that, I was fat.
Yeah, Gojo. By the way, Gojo, the reason I even brought up any of this stuff at the top of the show was that I did Wikipedia you recently for reasons that will not be disclosed. And your height and weight still on there, man. And you don't mind?
Is it the old one or the new one?
Well, I don't know if it's old or new. I don't know if it's being updated regularly. But
what does it say?
Was it a 3? If it's a 3, that's old.
Yeah. Well, here's what it says. It says, born September 28th, 1989, age 32, Voorhees, New Jersey.
Libra gang.
Shout out to you and me. Height 6'4", weight 300, man.
Yeah, that's old.
The old 136 kilograms. So,
that's
awesome.
I do miss being big though. Like there was this like great highlight of all the Michigan offensive linemen rushing over, embodying some DB on Ohio State. And it just looks so much fun. Like being big's awesome. Being strong and being able to lift a lot of weight is cool. I kind of miss that because now like I pulled my back doing a hip bridge at Pilates the other day. Like I have fallen so far.
Man, well, at least that's when you pulled your back doing the hip bridge. There's other hip bridges where you get a back pull be a lot more embarrassing. And we also don't have to spend any time talking about my 42-inch vertical. Keep it moving.
Okay. Alabaster.
Keep it moving.
All right, we got a couple bonus
I
topics.
need videos to believe that. I truly do. I don't believe
Check
that at
out
42.
them
Tommy got a
combine
42-inch
numbers.
vertical. That's insane.
Like
Check out
eagles,
them
y'all. Like
combine
eagles, y'all.
All right,
That's 225 31 times.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty strong.
That's
I wasn't that
power.
strong
Me
on the
too.
field.
I've done that.
It was totally fake, but
42
do that.
inches.
All right, our first bonus topic. It's a string of tweets. The first one comes from Excessively Beige, who said, What WTF is happening? I just turned on Debatable to hear Pablo Torre declare he's not racist. One Wolf replied by saying, his jeans, however, with the Photoshop that says, for jeans as American as football, pickup trucks, and wildly unnecessary camouflage. Pablo's jeans. The jeans we won't let you replace.
Oh, man.
Damn, Pablo's jeans are out here making denim great again.
My God.
The worst part is that I can't even like profit off of this via Nissan. This is like sponsored content that I cannot monetize because every implication is that my jeans are bigoted. So very good.
Your jeans, trust me, your jeans are furious that they are standing in front of a Japanese truck. They are furious.
They're furious that they're being worn by Pablo.
Oh my gosh. Oh, jeans are disgusting. Oh, Jesus.
Very awkward Thanksgiving with my jeans.
Oh, man. So I was at the game, and then, like, the national anthem comes on, and then it's like a weird moment because, like, all the white people around me are like side-eyeing me, like looking to see what is he gonna do? And I'm thinking, it's my country. In other words, like, I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, like I built it. My people built it more than yours. So yeah, I'm standing up for this. But also, I'll have you know, if I wanted to sit down, I will sit down. It's hard to express all that while also being quiet. You know, it's like I'm standing up. Like, yeah, my dad was in the military. Like, ancestors built this country. Like, I have no shame that America is mine, and I'll stand up for this flag. But also, should I choose to sit down, I will. It's hard to like get all that across in facial expressions to a crowd of people around you, but Pablo's jeans were very starch for the national anthem. I'm sure of it.
Yeah,
Domonique, I feel like you got to like throw him a pump fake in the middle of all that. Like treat it like a Key and Peele sketch where you're standing there and then you like flash him a knee. Like,
just half it. Just give it half.
No, Domonique, you gotta go salute, but then rotate around.
I decided what my move was a casual stance. Like, I'm going to stand, but I'm going to stand like I own this. Not I'm going to stand like, I'm going to stand like this is something that's happening, and I'm completely comfortable with it because it's my nation. So I'm going to stand. That was the best I could do with a facial expression that said what?
Gojo,
whole time like this.
Just an unrelenting wave of regret and guilt and shame that Domonique is expressing through his explanation as to how it is that he ended up doing exactly what those people wanted him to do.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
It's a real Miyagi situation where they're all just staring over here like, all right.
I was like,
Domonique
should I sit down? Should I take a knee? Like, what am I supposed to do
B-boy
right
pose
now?
that he used to stand up for the national anthem.
The funny thing...
I'm sure that...
the funny thing is, no one was looking at me. Maybe it was just like the people I was around, the section I was in, or the part of the country in. I could sense that no one was looking at me like, you better stand up. They were looking in order to like give me like a supportive head nod. Like I could feel, you know, the difference is like they were like, they wanted to be coming off of like, I guess the Ahmaud Arbery trial is our most recent thing where like they wanted to let me know. Like, hey,
that's right.
How about that verdict? They're like, I got a lot of back pats about the verdict. Like, I didn't try the case. Chill out. It was a lot of that, Gojo. A lot of like,
Domonique,
we got those killers off the street. Okay, whatever.
Domonique, I know the exact feeling you're talking about because when I used to sit with my black teammates in the back of a lecture hall, and any racial topic or joke would come up, and you'd feel every head in the room tilt to the back. Like, is it cool if we giggle about this with everybody here? Like, do we got this one? Like, you know who I voted for.
Gojo's like, no, let me take the back row of electoral office. Let me do it.
Oh, goodness. I love football, man. It's great.
Oh.
All right, guys, we got one more tweet.
Man.
This one comes from friend of the show, Long Live the Queen, who just tweeted this photo.
Yeah. Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice. Well, I'm proud of you, Pablo. You've come a long way on your number dysmorphia. I don't know what we call it.
Yeah, no, number dysmorphia is correct. And I'm also glad that, speaking of like just body dysmorphia, I got to have the neck down body of a sex god. So I'm really making progress.
He is. What is like?
I was going to ask about the notion of having that statue above your bed.
Well,
like,
Gojo, you know, I should disclose this, Gojo. And you'll appreciate it.
Is that like aspirational?
Yeah, it's just it's like a deity. He draws energy from it.
Well, if you want to know the real
a sexual
yin and yang,
spirit bomb
He
from
rubs
Wilt?
it
the
before
yin and
he
yang
goes
of
down.
speaking of deities and just who I am as a Catholic, Wilt Chamberlain and Father Bender. Shout out to my history teacher, Father Bender. Bobbling.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? So you want, that's really creepy. Father Bender has to watch what takes place in there? Like, Wilt, I understand, but why is Father Bender watching it?
I just want you
I
to
can't
know.
imagine how uncomfortable the post-coitus dat between Wilt and Father Bender would be watching all this unfold.
You did that, Wilt. You did that.
I see you, Wilt.
What? But it might be Father Bender. It's Wilt coming in like, oh, I didn't know you had that, Father
going
Bender.
cheek to
Oh no,
cheek.
it can't be, right? That's like against the rules.
Yeah.
Like against the
yeah.
rules.
Yeah, that's finishing off with sacrilege.
That's-
Welcome to Monday Debatable, baby.
That's a sacrifice that I don't know. I can't do that.
They're always watching, by the way. They're always watching.
You're creepy. You're so creepy. Hey, Pug. Get us out of here.
Oh, that, I mean.
Run!
So, best show ever or nah?
I don't know if my wife's going to love what I did here at the end of the show.
You won't know. We won't tell her.
That's true.